Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to take that whole stack of source material, the GitHub notes, the release docs, all of it, and just distill it down into what you really need to know.
And our focus today is, well, it's a big one for any Windows Power user. We are unpacking the latest milestone from Microsoft PowerToys, specifically version 0.96.
Which dropped in November of 2025.
And PowerToys, I mean, it's not just some random collection of tools, is it? It's this huge, community-driven framework.
It absolutely is. It's an open source powerhouse living right on GitHub with, over 127,000 stars now.
That's right. And it's all under an MIT license, which is fantastic.
And something like 7,600 forks. I mean, that shows you the global effort behind it. And that accessibility really starts with just how you get it on your machine.
Right. And for anyone new to this, we really should stress how flexible the installation is. It's not just one path.
Exactly. I mean, if you want to go straight to the source, the direct approach, you could just head to the GitHub releases page.
And grab the executable there. Yep. You just grab the .exe, pick your architecture by 64, ARM, 64, whatever you need, and then decide on the scope, per user or machine-wide.
Which is so key for different work setups. But I have to imagine most of our listeners are probably taking the path of least resistance.
Oh, for sure. That's either the Microsoft Store or, if you're a command line person, just using Wing It.
And the command is just beautifully simple.
It is. Just wing it install Microsoft.PowerToys. And a really important note on that, if you update using Wing It, it's smart enough to remember the scope you first installed with.
Ah, so no weird permission headaches later on.
None at all.
Okay, so that's the foundation. Let's get into the real meat of v0.96. We're jumping straight into the biggest aha moments, and, well, it's all about AI and customization.
This is where things get really interesting.
Well, I have to start with advanced pace.
Absolutely. Advanced pace has had, it's a complete philosophical shift. It used to be tied to one single OpenAI provider, and that created this sort of bottleneck.
So that bottleneck is just gone now.
Completely gone. We've moved from a single-lane road to a multi-lane highway.
So what does that mean in practice? How many providers, what kind of models are we talking about?
We are talking about a really diverse array of both online and on-device AI models. The official list includes Azure OpenAI, the standard OpenAI services, of course, Google Gemini, and Mistral.
Okay, those are the big cloud players.
Right. But what's really fascinating here is the inclusion of Foundry Local and Ollama.
Okay, we need to pause on those two. Foundry Local and Ollama. For someone who's just using advanced pace to, reformat an email, why is support for local models such a game changer?
It's all about three things: control, privacy, and cost. When you use something like Ollama, you're running the LLM, the brains of the operation, right there on your own hardware.
So no data ever leaves your machine.
Exactly. This is huge for anyone handling sensitive corporate data or just proprietary info. And it really democratizes access to these powerful AI tools because you're not paying for cloud compute time.
That makes perfect sense. It really elevates it from a cool consumer feature to a genuinely enterprise-ready, privacy-first tool. But does this make it more complicated? I mean, managing all these different API keys and endpoints sounds like a headache.
That's a fair question, and the team seems to have tackled that pretty well. The interface centralizes all of it. You just configure your keys for Azure or OpenAI once, right in the settings, or you point it to your local Ollama path.
And then when you use it,
it's just a drop-down. You just pick which brain you want to use for that specific task. It's all about maximizing choice while minimizing the setup hassle.
That is a huge boost to efficiency.
Yeah.
But let's talk about another kind of efficiency organization. We have to talk about PowerRename.
Yes.
It got a massive upgrade that's really targeted at photo enthusiasts and pros.
You're talking about the new photo metadata extraction. So PowerRename is already a beast for batch renaming, right? But now it can dig into the file itself and pull out EXIF and XMP data.
For those who might not live and breathe photography, can you quickly break down what EXIF and XMP actually are?
Of course. Think of them as the file's own memory. ESF, that's the exchangeable image file format. That's your standard stuff. When the photo was taken, the exposure, the camera model.
The basics.
Right. And then XMP is more flexible. That's where you can store copyright info, author notes, ratings, things like that. PowerRename can now read all of it.
Which means you can use those details right in the renaming pattern. What kind of placeholders can we use?
You can use variables like %AMRA, %lens, or even something as specific as %exposure time right in the file name. So you could take 1,000 photos from a shoot.
And in one go.
In one go, rename them all to something like 2025 1105 Canon US 5D Mark-I VVF4.0 portrait.jpg. That level of automated, precise organization is just pure workflow gold.
That is fantastic.
Okay.
So from file precision to central control, let's talk Command Palette. This is the operational heart of PowerToys, and it got a serious overhaul in v0.96.
It really did. They made some extensive improvements, really solidifying its role as that central hub for, well, for everything.
I read about the visual polish. Was that just about making it look nicer, or was there a functional reason for it?
It was alignment for the sake of usability. You now get that cool, smoky backdrop and better padding everywhere.
So the search field and a context menu looks the same as the main Command Palette pop-up.
Exactly. It feels consistent. And on a practical level, it's just snappier. The performance feels better because they prioritize what you need to access quickly.
How do they do that? Prioritize the speed, I mean.
Well, the fallback items, so things like your quick math calculations or the run command utility, they appear in the results much, much faster now. If the palette doesn't find a matching file or app right away, it doesn't just hang there. It gives you the utilities instantly.
That's a really smart performance tweak. And they also added some great little user-friendliness changes for the real power users.
Oh, yeah. What stands out to me is the quick access to settings. You can now just press Ctrl+D from anywhere to open the Command Palette settings.
So you don't have to navigate through the main PowerToys app anymore.
Nope. No more digging around. It's immediate.
Minimizing those extra keystrokes is always a huge win. And speaking of keyboard flow, they improved how you navigate through the search results, too.
Yes. Now, when you're in a long list of results, you can use page up and page down to scroll through them, but the cursor, the focus, it stays right in the search box.
Oh, that's great. Before, you'd lose focus and have to click back in.
Exactly. This just keeps your flow going, which is what a command tool is all about.
And this next one isn't really a user-facing feature, but it's so important for stability. The global error handler.
Absolutely vital. That handler now quietly logs any fatal errors and gives crucial feedback if the command palette is forced to close unexpectedly. For the dev team, and for you if you're troubleshooting, that's huge for diagnosing those weird edge cases.
Okay, let's go a level deeper into the palette's extensions. What's new with clipboard history?
This is so cool. They've turned it from just a simple list of text into an intelligently labeled catalog. Now you get helpful metadata right in the list.
Like what?
If you copy an image, you see its dimensions. If it's a big block of text, you see the word count. And if it's a web link, it pulls the page title. You can actually see what it is at a glance.
That turns a functional list into an intuitive library. Very smart. And what about file search?
They made navigation much clearer there, too. They added filter buttons right in the search results. So you can see all items, files only, or folders only.
And I heard it teaches you as you use it.
It does. If you click the folders only filter, it automatically adds the kind.folders syntax right into the search bar. So it's showing you how to do more advanced searches yourself.
And finally, for Command Palette, the Window Walker upgrades. They fixed a really old annoyance with app icons.
They fixed the icon issue, and Window Walker now shows the actual unique icon for each window, not just the generic icon for the process.
So things like progressive web apps or Python GUIs are actually recognizable now.
Exactly. And those generic icons were almost useless when you had multiple instances of the same program open. Plus, a small but important fix. UWP apps like Mail or Calculator no longer show that not responding label when Windows suspends them to save resources.
Okay, let's shift gears to our third section. Targeted utility upgrades. These are smaller, but they have a really high impact on the overall polish of the suite.
Right, and these are the kinds of fixes that really cement PowerToys as a platform you can rely on day to day. They're tackling real, frustrating bugs.
Like with Awake, the tool that keeps your PC from sleeping. That got a core stability fix.
It did. The countdown timer is now accurate over really long periods. So if you set Awake to run for 12 hours while a huge data analysis is running overnight,
You can actually trust it now.
you can trust it won't drift or shut down early. That's critical for any kind of unattended job.
And the host's file editor now gives you control over your own safety net.
Before, the backup system was kind of a black box. Now you get customizable settings, you can set how often it backs up, exactly where it saves the file, and even set auto-deletion policies. It's all about giving you control and the confidence to make changes.
Then there's Peek, the file preview tool. It got two major fixes that I think every content creator will love.
First, they solved a massive frustration point. Media files, videos, audio, they no longer stay locked by the system after you close the peak window.
Oh, thank goodness. That file and use error is the worst.
It's gone. And second, they added a command line interface for it. This is huge for scripters and anyone doing automation. You can now call peak from within a custom script.
Mouse utilities also got a little love. Mouse without borders.
Added horizontal scrolling support, a massive relief for anyone with ultra-wide monitors or huge spreadsheets stretching across multiple machines.
And finally, let's hit Zoom It. It received a whole suite of upgrades.
Yeah, they smoothed out the zoom animation, which just makes it look cleaner, more professional. They also enabled GIF support. And crucially, they fixed a GDI handle leak.
So for the non-devs out there, what does that actually mean? A GDI handle leak.
It basically means the app was slowly forgetting to close the doors it opened to draw graphics on your screen. Over time, that would drain memory and cause instability.
So fixing that leak means Zoom. It's just much less likely to crash or slow down your system during a long presentation.
Exactly. Plus, they fixed some bugs with actual size screenshots.
Yeah.
It's all about making the platform not just feature-rich, but reliable.
That's a ton of user-facing improvements.
Yeah.
But to wrap up, let's look under the hood. What were the big back-end changes that made all this possible?
There was some really significant internal work on the infrastructure. They finished migrating their whole build system from Windows Server 2019 to Server 2022.
Which brings better reliability, better support for newer APIs.
For sure. But the optimization of the CI pipeline, the continuous integration pipeline, that's particularly important. That's what lets them deliver features faster.
How so?
They optimized it by replacing slow file copy operations with much, much faster hard links and moves. That one change cut down the overall build time. And get this, it reduced the temporary disk space needed by 10 to 15 gigabytes.
Per build. That's a massive saving.
It is. And they also consolidated the installer builds. So now they produce the machine-wide and the per-user installers at the same time, which just cuts down on complexity and maintenance. These aren't things you see, but they drastically improve their agility.
And speaking of the future, what's on the roadmap after this release? What should we be looking out for?
Well, they're building directly on that AI foundation we talked about. For advanced pace, they're planning custom endpoint support and even deeper local model integration.
So even more control for users.
Exactly. And we should also see a totally revamped keyboard manager UI and a brand new shortcut guide experience. The focus is still on those core Windows interactions.
So it's clear the theme here is just continual aggressive iteration.
Absolutely. And they always stress how important the community is. They welcome all kinds of contributions, documentation, finding bugs, testing, and they make one really important point. If you want to contribute, you have to read the contributor's guide first.
To make sure it's a coordinated effort.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener? Let's recap the critical takeaways from PowerToys v0.96.
First, it's that unprecedented flexibility in advanced pace. Support for the big cloud AI providers, but also crucial local models like Ollama for total privacy. Second, it's the surgical precision you now have in PowerRename, using detailed photo metadata like %mera.
And finally, those immense performance and stability upgrades in the command palette. It's faster, it's more unified, and it's a much more usable hub for your entire workflow. These tools were all about maximizing your efficiency, period.
And that actually raises a really interesting final thought, building on those infrastructure changes we discussed. When you consider the pace of these updates, especially the back-end optimizations, the new server, how might this newfound agility fundamentally change the speed at which the PowerToys team can adopt brand new Windows platform APIs and roll out features that are driven directly by community feedback?
Something to mull over as you start customizing your own setup. A perfect thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive. We hope this helps you feel ready to go out and really customize your Windows experience.